We will bury the Palestinian state. Europe will have nothing left to recognise. These are the words of Bezalel Smotrich. He's the finance minister of Israel. He's sometimes described as some sort of fringe far-right character when it's abundantly clear to anyone who's paying attention and who is honest that what he has been pushing has been the mainstream position of the Israeli government all along. He wanted to wipe Gaza off the face of the earth. The Israeli state did it. He treated Palestinians as a whole as the enemy, and so did the Israeli military. He wanted to starve Gaza, which is what the Israeli state did. He wants to annex Gaza, which is what Israel is moving to do. He wants to empty of its population. That's Israel's plan. And he also wants to decisively seize the West Bank, which is already illegally occupied by Israel and colonized by hundreds of thousands of illegal Israeli settlers. Now, Smotrich in practice has been acting as the governor of the West Bank, which he and the Israeli state call by its biblical name, Judea and Samaria, as theological justification for stealing its land from its rightful people. A few days ago, he posed in front of graffiti, which reads, "Death to Arabs." Let's listen to what he said in his latest speech.
מי שמנסה היום בעולם להכיר במדינה פלסטינית יקבל מאיתנו תשובה בשטח. לא במסמכים, לא בהחלטות או הצהרות, אלא בעובדות. בעובדות של בתים, בעובדות של שכונות, כבישים ועוד ועוד משפחות יהודיות שבונות חיים. הם ידברו על החלום השקרי הפלסטיני. אנחנו נמשיך לבנות מציאות יהודית מגשימה. המציאות הזו קוברת סופית את רעיון המדינה הפלסטינית. פשוט כי אין במה להכיר ואין למי להכיר. אני קורא מכאן ביום החשוב הזה לראש הממשלה בנימין נתניהו. הגיע העת להכיל את הריבונות הישראלית ביהודה ושומרון באופן מלא, להוריד מהפרק לנצח את רעיון חלוקת הארץ, ולוודא שעד ספטמבר למנהיגים הצבועים באירופה פשוט לא יהיה במה להכיר.
What he's doing here is approving construction plans which would cut off the north of the West Bank from its south. He talks of creating a reality that buries the idea of a Palestinian state because there's nothing to recognise and no one to recognise it. And he also thanked the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is subject to an arrest warrant for war crimes and crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court, saying, as far as Judea and Samaria are concerned, he supported and enabled me to carry out this revolution over the past 2.5 years. The plan now is to create a further 3,412 housing units to begin with, which would mean many thousands in total new illegal Israeli settlers, and it is designed to make impossible any future Palestinian state, cutting the West Bank up into chunks. Now, there's an important point here. The Israeli state is calling the bluff of European powers. Recognizing Palestinian statehood, as some European countries are doing, is important. But it is the most symbolic thing that a country can do. Western states continue to arm Israel and trade with Israel. They refuse to impose any meaningful sanctions on Israel. So the Israeli state knows it is up against empty rhetoric rather than actual concrete action. It is laughing in the face of these powers. For years, Western countries have spoken about the need for a two-state solution, knowing full well that the Israeli state has no interest in it whatsoever. Indeed, here's what's so despicable. In Britain, you get government ministers who sometimes get questioned about Israel's murderous actions in Gaza. The journalists usually do a dire job, don't put them under any pressure whatsoever, often clearly are deeply ignorant about the topic. But what happens is British ministers use the so-called two-state solution as a crutch. Instead of answering what they're going to do now about arming Israel while it conducts genocide, about the specific crimes Israel's committing, they simply utter some platitude about the need for a two-state solution, knowing it's a total fantasy, which Israel in no way will countenance in practice, and which, in any case, they're not doing anything meaningful in any sense to put pressure on Israel to achieve. Now, a colleague of Bezalel Smotrich is Itamar Ben-Gvir, also a genocidal maniac. He's the Israeli Minister of National Security and thus in charge of Israel's police and prison service. A video was posted of him entering the cell of Marwan Barghouti, who was often described as the Palestinian Nelson Mandela. I had the privilege of meeting his son earlier this year in London. Marwan Barghouti has been imprisoned by the Israeli state for over 2 decades, with independent international studies finding he didn't have a fair trial with flimsy evidence presented. Barghouti is in solitary confinement. Let's look at this clip.
מי שירצח לנו ילדים, מי שירצח לנו נשים, אנחנו נמחק אותו. אתם צריכים לדעת את זה לאורך כל ההיסטוריה.
So to be clear, that translation, you won't win. Whoever messes with the nation of Israel, whoever murders our children and women, we will wipe them out. You should know this. This happened throughout history. This is, of course, nakedly, openly genocidal. There isn't even a pretense here. It's also noteworthy just how frail Barghouti looks. It's really shocking. The comparison with how he once looked is frankly just, well, chilling, frankly. And it just speaks to the barbarism which Palestinian detainees are treated with. So many tortured, murdered. Now, the brilliant Palestinian analyst Mohammed Shahada, who had just come back from Copenhagen after meeting, which was a huge honor, he writes, imagine a chubby Hamas leader towering over an emaciated, frail and tortured Israeli hostage and yelling at him, we will wipe you out. You'd never see the end of global outrage, compared to the radio silence about Ben-Gvir humiliating Barghouti. He adds, there's only one goal to Ben-Gvir's sadistic stunt with Marwan Barghouti today: provoke Palestinians so strongly that some would retaliate and exploit that to ravage entire cities of the West Bank like Jenin and Tulkarm. Israel's defense minister, Yalon, warned about this tactic in 2023, that they'll keep violently provoking Palestinians over and over and over again until someone fights back, then cry to the world, look, we're the victims, and launch campaigns of ethnic cleansing, mass killing and mass destruction. And that's indeed clearly the transparent strategy here. There's something else I want to mention. After multiple Palestinian footballers have been murdered by the Israeli state in Gaza, the UEFA, the European Football Association, UEFA, finally said something. They unfurled a banner at Super Cup declaring, stop killing children, stop killing civilians. We should note the cowardice here, the failure to name the perpetrator, but their cowardice did not stop them from being dogpiled by Israel's champions. Stephen Pollard is the former editor of the Jewish Chronicle in the United Kingdom, and to put it mildly, a vociferous champion of the Israeli state. And he posted the following on Twitter, and this is literally what he posted. UEFA statement on the pitch for Super Cup, they might as well have gone the whole way and written, fuck you, Jews. What do you even say? What do you even say? Imagine looking at a banner with stop killing children, stop killing civilians, and interpreting that as fuck you, Jews. I'm personally struggling to think of statements which are inherently more anti-Semitic than that, than interpreting slogans objecting to the murder of children and civilians as being an attack on Jewish people. As though this is something, Jewish people, part of Jewish identity. It's really fascinating and disturbing how since this genocide began, there hasn't even been a pretense by Israel's cheerleaders to respect any demarcation between the state of Israel and the Jewish people as a whole. They've done all they can to make Israel and its genocidal actions synonymous with the Jewish people. It is absolutely insane, and it is so irresponsible. So many Jewish people have been speaking out so loudly, so vocally, with so much courage against Israel's genocide. How dare apologists for this monstrosity smear these people who are defined by their humanity. But there's someone I want to praise. This week, students in Britain awaited their A-level results. Those are exams taken by 17 and 18-year-olds before university. Watch this clip on the BBC.
So on that note, I just want to say free Palestine and the genocide, and the BBC is complicit.
All right, we're here to talk about A-level results.
The BBC is complicit.
All right, thank you for your thoughts. We're here to talk about A-level results today. Gaza, a whole different subject. Just tell us...
It turns out this young man is called Cal, and massive kudos to him. He's absolutely right. The BBC, along with so many other Western media outlets, is complicit in genocide. If they told the truth about this historic abomination from the very beginning, then Western states would never have been able to facilitate it. That's the truth. And when the reckoning comes, there's going to be accountability for it. Please like and subscribe, leave your thoughts and your comments. Help us take on the media which has facilitated this genocide at patreon.com/OJ34. Everything you do makes it possible. As I've said before, I'm working on finishing my book, The Fall of the West, which means we're not as active on YouTube as normal, but when I finish, I hope that will change. I'm juggling a lot. But yeah, thanks to you, we keep persevering. And obviously I can't just stop doing the videos, unfortunately, given the failure of the vast majority of my colleagues to use their platforms to oppose a genocide. I mean, there's so few of us using our platforms in this way that if one of us just goes silent for a while, that's not a great situation. So yeah, press like and subscribe. You leave your comments, share the video, listen to the podcast if you prefer. I'll speak to you in a bit.